Good afternoon, you guys. Today is June 25th, and we're going to go over today's live trade, right? The setups, my areas of interest, and we're going to do a full day's analysis, right? And we're going to break down my thought process behind the trade I took, my thought process of not taking the trade, and we're going to break everything down today. Although it was a slow and choppy market, I was focused on one and done. There was other trades that I was looking at that hit. Totally fine, staying disciplined. But without further ado, let's get right into it, right? Again, coming in, our pre-market plan. Right, again, we had 7 a.m. news, so I said that I'll be waiting until news hits. Right, these just called out 6:14 a.m., right, 6:16 and 6:17, and then here's my note. Right, we called out exactly what was going to happen. Right, I said we swept sell side. We have a 1 hour market structure, 1 hour fair value at respect. I like to see us retrace the discount of yesterday's sell range, take out 19,856, rebounds to 1987.7 discount, which is the discount of the sell range, and then into the 4 hour fair value gap. I said if we find buying, then I can see buyers send out 19,932. And then my note was what was important today. I said I could see the market trade lower into the open 19,804 sweep. From there, we decide if we run lower or continue to highs. Right. So without further ado, let's get into why I was bullish today. Right. I give you a short plan, but I was leaning bullish. Very simple. Right. So coming into the session open, right, we swept out sell side liquidity here, and we have a 1 hour market structure shift to the upside, and then we have this 1 hour fair value gap that's getting respected. So seeing this, right, I know that likely we can run higher, right? And the 19,856 high is just this high here, right? I know that if we see a sell side sweep, a break of structure respecting a 1 hour fair value gap, right, we're gonna run higher. And what would we run higher to? Very simple. We zoom out, right? Yesterday's range, right? Swing high to swing low, right? That's what I'm looking at. So that midpoint, right? There's that 19,877 target I called here, right? That's just a discount of yesterday's sell range. And then what do we have on the higher time frame? 4 hour fair value gap unfilled here, right? So minimum, I'm looking at this fair value gap to get filled, right? My final price target was 19,932. Right, 19,932, very simple. It's just, right, this 1 hour high here. More apparent on the 15-minute here, right? So coming in the session, we already know that we have a sell side sweep. We have a breaker structure, and we failed to deliver here. So understanding that we failed to deliver and we're starting to chop around, right? I want to see delivery to this high, but likely what's going to happen, that's why I called it in my note. What will likely happen is that we trade lower first. Because if we broke structure on the 1 hour, we would just find this and we would just shoot straight through, right? Because we saw us start to consolidate coming to session open, I saw the likely thing to do was to first trade lower, right? And then 19,804 sweep, my bad. Very, very simple, right? It is just this low, pre-market low, right? So I said, right, very simple. We have a power of 3, broke 1 hour structure. I want to see us retrace back in because we tried to find buying, we broke structure again, we failed to deliver. We're likely to trade lower first. That's exactly what happened. Right, markets trades lower, right? We have the accumulation, downside manipulation, and we look for distribution, right? Delivery to what? The pre-market high, 19,856, and then that midpoint of the 4 hour, right? So these targets ended up being hit off open, right? I called an entry point. I said right here at 6:45, I said I would be long now. I'm waiting for news at 7, right? So that's what I called here. And that was at 6:45. So that was at this fair value gap here, 6:45. I said I would be long because we have what? A sweep into the 1 hour. This bearish gets inversed and you would get your long here. So at 6:45, I called the longs, right, at this candle, right? You'd be long in this 1 hour 1 minute fair value gap. I said I would be long now. And what would my target be? The 56s, right? 19,856 high. That, right, news hits at 7. So by the time it hits news, right, we're already ready to target. So I'm totally fine missing that out, right? Your stop would be here. Right, I'm totally fine with missing this out. Yes, it was okay, but my rules, I wait till news hits. And news hit, and it's too late. I don't care. We move on. Although this was a great quality setup, and it ran, right, our target's 19,856, and it retraced to the 19,877 discount into the 4 hour fair value gap, right? As you can see, your long entry here, stop never gets hit, and then you see the 19,856 get hit here, and then you see the rebound. So that's a very great quality trade. This is, 32 and a 56-point trade there. Right, my setup came a bit later, and it was just a continuation model. Right, so we know we're in a bullish model. So what would I look for next? I look for market to retrace lower to fill some sort of imbalance. Right, what imbalance am I looking at is very simple. A 5-minute power of 3. 5-minute sweep. We have a 5-minute market structure shift, and what do we leave behind? A 5-minute fair value up here. Coming in on the 1 minute, this is what I'm looking at, right? We have an internal sweep here of this small low, and then we do what? We break structure to the upside with clear buying. My entry was at 977 here, which was just an inverse 1 minute fair value gap, right? My stop was just resting at this low. Right, so this is my point of entry. My target, very simple, right? Just the internal high. Not looking for too much. I caught a nice scale at the 19,900. Right, so this trade here was a 15-point risk, and I caught 23 points. Right, not the best risk to reward, but again, right, I'm very confident in this model. I'm confident we're going to move higher based off the higher time frames. It makes sense to draw higher, and I took a great trade, and that was all I took today. Right, was this 23-point gain. The fills are posted at Keith Trades, but I was able to call out this one. Right, and then further on in the day, we had plenty more setups to take, right, and I will go through over those now, right. We're gonna do a full day's analysis, just clear everything off, right, and then we have the continuation model, right, at 713. Shorten this up. At 713, you can see I called if we continue to find buying 19,932 should be hunted, right. That was at 713. So I call that, after my trade hit, right, 713. Well, my bad. Like a little bit before my trade. I said, right, if we find buying through that 4 hour, we're going to hunt that. And what is that 932 level, right? It's just this 15-minute high here, right? And this would be your PT2. Never got hit. Right, so let's get in that trade now. All right, coming on the 5-minute, right? We do what again? We come back into this area of interest again, and what do? We sweep out this internal low. Right, so we have a 5-minute model, and we have draws higher. Right, coming in on the 1 minute, let's find your point of entry. Very simple. You see market buy up, and then what do we hit? Right, fair value gap here. You get your fair value gap long here, or you can get entries here in this small one, or you can get the inverse entry here. Right, close above, you can immediately get long, which I probably would have done. And then price targets, right? You can do the internal high. And then obviously that 19,932 that's called out, right? Call that out at 713, and then it ends up hitting, right, about an hour later for a perfect another continuation model. So I was looking for that move on my trade, but I ended up scaling full here, and then Mike came down and did that exact model to the highs. And then coming here, we have another trade that was a very good quality trade, right? It's a breakdown model. Right, you can see we have the accumulation here, right? Upside manipulation here, and the upside manipulation of this high. Right, coming on the 1 hour, what do we form? Right, we form a 1 hour fair value gap. So that is going to be your first look. To the fill back into the 1 hour fair value gap would be your short target. Right, coming on the 5-minute, right? Again, I'm a 5-minute trader. Right, if you want to see higher prices, you're looking for this 5-minute fair value gap to get respected. We ran through the downside, market structure shift here. Market structure shift through this low. The cherry on top is that this fair value gap and discount does not get respected, right? And we form a what? Bearish fair value gap, right? You can't get entries here. And this fair value gap a bit premature in my opinion. This one is more quality, right? What will your targets be? The fill into the 1 hour fair value gap, and then these equal lows resting here. We're on the 1 minute. Let's see how that looks, right? Internal sweep into here. You would get your shorts here in the 5-minute fair value gap. Right, PT1 would be for 44 points, PT2 would be 57. Stop would probably be at this wick, 17-point stop for a 44-point reward. So over 2-to-1 restore, a great quality trade. And then the model that I was looking at, but I just didn't pull the trigger on, was the long continuation, right? And then looking at the higher time frames, right? We broke down and it just plays through. So if we find a respect to the 1 hour and we find a buy model, what's likely to be hunted first? Right, this unfilled 15-minute fair value gap here, and this 15-minute fair value gap up here. These are the first hunts before we run this high, right? Or you could get swing low to swing high, and guess where that lies at? Right, this is where discount lies, right there in line with that 15. So I said, okay, if we see sellers come in and we fail to run the low on the day, and we find respect of the 1 hour fair value gap here, and we take sell side, right? Those 15-minute fair value gaps are going to be the hunt. Now let's go into your entry model, right? So you see we have the external sweeps here, and then we form a what? Internal sweep of this low, right? So that's a clear manipulation, and we what? We buy through to the upside, right? I would be looking likely at a 2-minute fair value gap inverse entry was what I was looking at, right? If we're in a bearish model and we already respected this fair value up to run lower, right? If we inverse it, it's likely to hold nicely, right? So close above, strong close above here. You get your entry here. Stop out factor in both at this wick low here, right? So 13-point stop. On the 1 minute, you'd see the strong close above here. You'd get in your long here, right? So you'd be in long here at the tap back in. Your first price target would be this discount of the sell range, right? Swing high to swing low of this sell range. It'd be discount to do what? To a price into the 15-minute fair value unfilled. And then price target 2 can be this unfilled or just simply the high. Either or works, right? But this is a great quality trade as well, right? 13 point risk, 23 points, 43 points, and then a monster up here, 89 points. Right, so I only ended up taking one trade. Again, markets are very inefficient, very slow. All right, I'm not really on around the 8 o'clock. I come back on around 10, so I saw this model. I just didn't pull the trigger because I didn't like action. I'm totally fine with the one and done day. The best traders I know, they take one trade, and that's all I need. So it's a great quality trade, right? 23 points, 20 points a day keeps it 9 to 5 away, right? End up calling the longs here, I call the 932 price target. The shorts look good, longs, and this is a full day's review. This was a bit longer. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a like. Any questions, just leave us a comment, and I'll be sure to answer that fast. And then if you have any other content ideas, any educational things you guys want to see, please let me know. And then stay tuned for that Discord launch. It will be on sale. Thank you guys.